And we are back. Welcome to my predictions for the final matches in the group stages of the men's under-23s Olympic tournament taking place tomorrow. And I mean, it's been a crazy pair of tournaments in this Olympics so far. We'll obviously talk about the utter chaos that was the women's football yesterday in tomorrow morning's video, but for today we're going to focus on the men's as always, and that second round of men's matches produced some upsets, some late thrills and spills, and has really set up an intriguing final day's action. And I did relatively well on the predictions, it still has to be said, but I've not done anywhere near as well as I thought I would. And like I said, it's just down to pure drama. Firstly, and I think most notably, Ukraine with 10 men getting the 98th minute winner against Morocco after most, I'm not going to say all, expected Morocco to back up their result against Argentina with the win. And you just knew Morocco were going to be involved in just even more drama. And that, of course, was the case. Then you have the late winners. France getting a late winner. Japan getting a late winner. Then you have Egypt beating Uzbekistan. You have Paraguay coming back from a 5-0 defeat to then win 4-2. Just absolute scenes at this Olympics so far. It's been a phenomenal, like I say, pair of tournaments so far. And today, my job is to try and determine how it's all going to end up in the group stages and try and decide who is going to be in the scrap for the medals that come next week. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video. And if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing with notifications turned on. We're doing predictions for every single Olympics match for the course of the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, every Premier League game, Champions League game, and all English football-related content for you for the course of next season, as well as all internationals as well. And without any further ado, let's get into it. The final day of the men's Olympic football group stages. And we're going to do things in chronological order today, because even though they've not done the groups in the right order, at least they've paired the groups together. So we're going to start off with Group C, because even the Olympic Committee doesn't know their alphabets properly, but we're going to do C, B, A, D. So it means we start with Group C, and we start off with Dominican Republic against Uzbekistan. Now, Uzbekistan obviously have lost both of their opening matches. They lost to Spain, they lost to Egypt. DR did, of course, lose to Spain, as most people predicted, and did get the draw against Egypt, as I predicted, which means that the group stands with Spain on 6, Egypt on 4, DR on 1 and Uzbekistan on 0. Now, if the Dominican Republic are going to get through, they are going to have to win, hope that Spain beat Egypt, and have a 3-goal swing in terms of goal difference. Now, for me, I think that's probably too much of an ask. The big thing that's going in their favour is that Uzbekistan are out. You have to get second place to progress to the knockout stages. Egypt are on 4 in second, Uzbekistan are on 0. They are out regardless. That gives the advantage to the Dominican Republic. They can go at an Uzbekistan side that may just make wholesale changes as well, given the fact that they're already out and they'll want to give their players an Olympic experience. So, with that said, I'm giving Dominican Republic the win. On paper, I think Uzbekistan should probably still win this match, but just under the circumstances, I'm going to say Dominican Republic get the win, but I'm only going to go for 1-0 because that's probably about as much as they can muster. That means going into the other game, the Dominican Republic are going to need Spain to beat Egypt by a scoreline of 2 goals or more, provided that Egypt do not score, because it goes to goal difference, then goals scored. Going into today, Egypt and Dominican Republic both have 1 goal, but there's a 3-goal difference swing in Egypt's favour. So ultimately for Egypt, their job is keep Spain out. If they can keep Spain out, obviously if they can get a 0-0 draw, Egypt will just progress anyway. But if they can only lose by 1 goal or manage to score themselves, keep it to 2-1, then Egypt will progress just on goal difference. And that's the way I see it going. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Spain. I think Egypt are capable of scoring against them. And I do think Spain will come out strongest. Spain, of course, still have to win this match, or at least draw this match to guarantee that they win the group. So I still think they're going to be pretty strong going for it. And I think they're going to get the win. But obviously, like I say, if Spain can pile on the pressure, make it 3-0 or, you know, a 3-1, 4-1, anything like that, a Dominican Republic win will be enough to see them through. But it's going to be tight. I just think Egypt, at the end of the day, are going to be the side that end up finishing in second. On to Group B. And, well, I'm just going to put the table up for you. How the hell do you want me to organise that? All four sides have played two, won one, lost one, and the goal difference is 4-3, 3-3, 3-3, 3-4. Like, it's next to impossible to figure all this out, but I'm going to do my best. Firstly, Morocco against Iraq. I think this is a very, very, very tight game. I think, obviously, as things stand, Morocco, well, a win for any of the teams will see them progress. So both sides in both matches are going to be going for it. They can't afford to play for a draw because a draw may see them go out. Obviously, Iraq cannot afford to draw. Ukraine cannot afford to draw. Morocco can, just about. Argentina obviously can because they've got the superior goal difference overall. Then it comes down to who's going to win the individual matches, and it's just all a bit of a mess. But for the Morocco and Iraq game, based on what I've seen across the two matches, I can't split these two. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think both sides are going to be going for it. Both sides have vulnerable defences, but both sides have pretty strong attacks. This is going to be a game of very fine margins. It's going to be a bit of luck. Knowing Morocco, it's going to be some sort of 90 plus 10 winner for one side or the other, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. That will mean that both these sides are on 4 points. Morocco will be on 0 goal difference and Iraq will still be on -1 goal difference. That will mean that for Ukraine, all they would have to do is score more goals than Morocco and would still get the draw. However, if it's going to be 2-2, that means that for Ukraine to get through on a draw, it would have to be 3-3. So, again, in this game, Ukraine and Argentina, both sides need to go for it. On paper, I still think Argentina are the stronger. Yes, Ukraine were fantastic against Morocco, but I still think Argentina are a stronger side overall. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to them, which means the group will end with Argentina top on 6 points, Morocco second on 4 with a +1 goal difference over Iraq, also on 4, and then Ukraine finishing on 3. That's what I'm going for. I mean, like I say, anything could happen in this group because basically everything's already happened in this group. Now let's move on to a much nicer group to determine, which is Group A. And I say nicer, it's not amazing, but France are on 6, America and New Zealand are on 3, and Guinea are on 0. We start off with New Zealand against France. France have been absolutely immense so far in this tournament. They haven't conceded a single goal. A 3-0 win and a 1-0 win. The only one they've not had is a 2-0 win, which is what I'm going to go for today. New Zealand, obviously, we know what they're capable of. They played well in their opening game, but then they got pretty well beaten by America in that second game. And I think they're not going to have enough left to then challenge a French side that is going to want to make sure for absolute certainty that they win this group. They cannot afford to lose because there's still an outside chance that if they lose and then America win with all three sides on 6, even though the goal difference swing would have to be massive, there's still a chance France could end up going out. So I still think France are going to come out on top in this one. As for the other game, again, like I say, Guinea have been very poor so far in this tournament. Defensively, they've done okay, but offensively, it's just not been there. Only losing 1-0 to France, I think, is a good result for them, but they're now in a position where they need to win. Hope that France beat New Zealand. It's not out of the question by any stretch of the imagination. Guinea win this game by 2 goals, they will leapfrog America, and if France beat New Zealand, a 2-goal win or more will still see Guinea go through. However, after what I saw from America against New Zealand, I'm going to go for America again. Only going to go for 2-1. I still think it's going to be a close game, and like I say, Guinea have to go for it. So there's always a chance that it ends up being more the other way because Guinea end up overcommitting. But ultimately, I still think America are going to be the side that goes through. And then finally, we end off with Group D. This group stands with Japan on 6, I believe, then Paraguay on 3, and Mali and Israel on 1 after drawing with each other and respectively losing to Japan and Paraguay in the opposite fixtures. We start off with Israel against Japan. Israel well beaten by Paraguay in the end in that second fixture, and Japan have already beaten Paraguay 5-0. So if Israel have any plans on turning up in this one and making it matter, I just don't see it happening personally. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Japan. Israel proved they can score goals, but Japan have been so good so far. I even saw in the comments the other day, Japan basically are playing for vibes, they're playing for fun, they're having fun, and they're winning football matches, and I expect that to continue in tomorrow's match. So I'm going to go for 3-1 to them. And then finally, Paraguay against Mali. Now this one's interesting because a win for Mali automatically puts them through because of their superior goal difference, and of course they will overtake Paraguay on points. For Paraguay, a draw may not be enough because if Israel beat Japan, then they will have a better goal difference than Paraguay. So Paraguay have to win just to be sure, but Mali have to win because they literally have to win, otherwise they can't get through anyway. So again, makes it really interesting, but again, Mali have been disappointing in this tournament. Paraguay got it right in that game against Israel, and I'm backing Paraguay to get it right again in tomorrow's match. I'm going to go for 2-1. I've just realised that all of the matches on the right-hand side of the board, I've gone for a 2-1 win. But that is just the way I see it. And that will mean that it will be Japan and Paraguay that end up going through. So that's the way I see it. I'm going for Spain and Egypt. I'm going for Morocco and Argentina. I'm going for France and the United States. And I'm going for Japan and Paraguay. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments section. Who will be making it to the knockout stages of the Men's Olympics? Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll be back tomorrow to discuss the final matches in the Women's.